Hey, there we go. Oh my gosh, that color. What happened to that color? Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh my colors. Oh, oh. I think that's a little bit better. Good morning. It's hard to keep away. Good morning, everybody in the chat room. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my live stream. Today is September 6th, 2018. I'm playing with colors today because I'm wearing all my midnight green. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and tonight it's the start of the National Football League season here in the United States. My team, my Philadelphia Eagles, we won the championship last year, the league championship. Blue Awning, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Steve, you're interrupting me while I'm giving the introduction to all our friends here. Can you give me a minute here, Steve? Thanks. So things look a little weird. Look, you got a little blue haze around me because I'm using blue background so that my green sticks out a little bit here, so you can see that a little. So that's why I'm wearing all my green today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody in the chat room. There's Flappy and Jay Wood. Moz is here. Good morning, Moz. With the big C# Superman logo. That's awesome. I love that. I love that emote. It's a really cool emote. IT Goran is here and Coated Beard Sarnal. Rambling Geek says, oh man, now I have found this, and after joining in last Saturday, it's hard to keep away. You need to join every time. You don't want to miss it. We're actually going to have some guests next week. It's going to be amazing. There's Joker and Ancient Coder. Hello, hello, Brave Cobra. Chris Jones. Hey, how's it going? All right. So I'm going to hop off of this screen because I want to go over and start talking about CoreWiki. Oh, man, that doesn't look too good on the edges there. Took a look at doing that issue a little bit earlier, says SMAP. Oh yeah, we're going to work on this. You know what, I'm going to jump right into the code over here, and it still looks a little weird on the edges there. Let's see what we can do to clear that up. I was tinkering with my filters, my blue filters, so I could try to get this looking really good today. Let's see, my color correction, am I going to be able to make that disappear on the edges without making me disappear? I think we just about got it, but my face is a little funky looking in there. Or is that just my light? Oh, that's better. All right, let's do that. Good morning. So I wanted to do a little bit of work on... Hey there, thank you so much, Visual Studio. I wanted to do a little bit of work on our CoreWiki project today, and particularly I wanted to talk about, well, first off, some of the great pull requests we got from some of you folks. And we got a request to add the Deploy to Azure button to the project, so I thought we'd take a look at that as well. Let's play some music here in the background. I don't want it to be silent here and just listening to this voice ramble. Let's see. I'm going to play, let's play Orange today. There we go. Is that a little loud? I think that song might be just a smidge loud. Let's see if we can back that off. Yeah, it is. There we go. So this is, of course, music to code by. This is music that was written by our friend Carl Franklin. He's graciously given us permission to play it here on stream in the background. It's great, groovy music that you can listen to that is 25 minutes long. It's as long as a Pomodoro. So you can focus, you can get things done in that 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then start playing the song again. But here on stream, we play it in the background. Thank you very much, Carl. If you want to get your copy of Music to Code By, go to musictoflowby.com. You can download the app. You can get a couple songs free right now if you go check it out. Or you can buy the whole collection if you go to mtcb.pwop.com. Code Rushed, thanks so much for the host. I appreciate that, and the 3 folks that you're sending my way. Combast V, welcome from Berlin. Thanks so much. I appreciate the kind words. Did I download the MP3s, or do you subscribe for the music? Carl graciously gives me a copy of the MP3 so that I can play them here in the background. So you can subscribe and get the MP3s as well. So all right, let's see. Yeah, I have watched 4 of the CoreWiki videos on YouTube since last Saturday. That's great. But you know what, Rambling Geek? The best way to learn more about CoreWiki is to get involved and to actually write some code. And we're going to do a little bit of that today. I haven't written some actual code in CoreWiki in a couple days. Hey, Dev Chatter, thanks so much for the host. I appreciate you sending over 10 folks. So we're going to write some code. We're going to take a look at your pull requests, give you some feedback, and see what we're going to integrate here. And then we're going to build this deploy to Azure button. What do we got here? Okay. So let's take a look. So this is the CoreWiki source code out on GitHub. So github.com /Fritz/CoreWiki, and if you look below, there's a GitHub panel here. Excuse me, on Twitch that has links to the various projects we work on stream, including a link to CoreWiki so that you can clone it, download it, play with it, break it, whatever you'd like. It's open source. Have fun with it. But if you do something that you think would be really cool with it, send us a pull request. Let's talk about it, and maybe we'll merge it into the full application. Now, last time we deployed, well, not last time. Last time we did the behind-the-scenes stream with the Visual Studio channel. But the time before that, Saturday, we actually deployed and set it up, and it's running out there at corewiki.info. So you can go out there, check it out. There's nothing really uploaded up here yet. Some folks have posted some comments, so that's pretty cool of them. And I also pitched, we're going to have a little theme contest here. I haven't seen any themes submitted yet, but if you'd like to put together a little theme that can be used for CoreWiki, and I have to light up that rainbow theme out here, I guess. You can submit them as a pull request, and next week we'll take a look, and if anybody submits one, the best one will be chosen to win a Works on My Machine mug or phone case. So it's got that ugly mug on it, but so a phone case, whether it's iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy, or we'll send you out a mug just for participating and for having a really cool theme for the CoreWiki. And you'll see it appear in the box down here. So take a look, give it a shot if you'd like. And I need to figure out a good way to let people add more content to this so that we can start building out and letting folks add more to the real CoreWiki as it is. So I think this is really cool, and I'm really excited that we've taken something that we started here on stream and it's become a real site. So let's take a look at the pull requests that were submitted. So we have 3 here. We have one with a couple comments from Chris introducing StyleCop for keeping the code clean, neat, and tidy. 171 files changed. AppVeyor isn't building on these. That's a little bit of a problem. But a fix here. Some errors, warnings in Visual Studio, disregarded. No clear error message coming from AppVeyor, but it is building now. So this is the problem. The problem that I have with this is literally a I cleaned up your code type of commit, and it's adding spaces and literally just moving things. Adding the code analysis rule set. I understand what you're trying to do, and I appreciate what you're trying to do to keep folks in the same pace, but you've done things like move my using statements inside the namespace. Right, and here, there's a constructor here, seed data, save changes async. Right, they've been just relocated in the project. I don't want to spend a lot of time reviewing this right now. Yeah, this was not prompted. So I'm not particularly a fan of accepting this type of pull request that literally says, oh, I reformatted your code. I'm going to take this offline and dig a little bit further into it and figure out if we want to accept this. Yeah, I'm not sure we want to accept this. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I don't think we need that right now. And I think it's something I don't want to spend time on stream reviewing right now. The second pull request is getting pages, service, and repo free. So this is Brave Cobra saying, I moved a bit of code around. All pages are now using Mediator to convey requests to the backend. So we've been going through this exercise to remove our entity framework repositories and requests from the web project. Inside of CoreWiki, we have a web project, and we started introducing the CQRS pattern so that we're not directly accessing and using entity framework to request data from our services. By separating our web front end from our database request, and by also introducing this extra layer of architecture, it's going to allow us to do two things. Scale the application horizontally. We'll be able to introduce additional application servers that will increase the scalability of our front end, and we'll be able to swap out our database structure and, using the same repository pattern, be able to drop in access to things like Cosmos DB or MongoDB or Postgres if we want to use a different database service. So that's where the project started. This project New Data branch started, if you haven't been following along. And Brave Cobra, it sounds like, in this pull request really took a shot to go through and clean up some of those other places where we're still accessing entity framework directly. Smab says, what might be useful is to come up with the rules we wish to follow in this project. I think that's fair. That's a fair discussion. Let's open an issue to discuss that in the repository, and yeah, let's discuss, and then we can figure out how we want to implement those rules, and to ensure that things like AppVer appropriately raise errors when those rules are violated. So I don't have a problem with enforcing rules. I want to make sure that we discuss and we all understand the rules before we go and implement them. That's all. And doing that global cleanup type of pull request, while it's something that we probably will need to do, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as a community before we implement something like that. And we all understand the rules too. Otherwise, everybody's going to say, hey, I didn't know this rule was out here when this happened. So here's what Brave Cobra has for us. Now, I think I saw you in the chat room. Oh, there he is. Yes. Is this something that I can merge today? Because I do see you've commented and said there's a couple extra things here that we have left to do. I want to make sure that you're comfortable with us merging what's already here, or if this is still a work in progress and we want to hold off for a little bit. All working as far as I could see. Yeah, it looks like we've got good compiles here. So, lots of pull requests. Lots of commits in this pull request. So remove the reuse of the article DTO. Should be more specific per request. Use AutoMapper to map between DTOs and view models. Let's see. Refactor notifications. Oh, cool. Yes. So we have a notification system as part of CoreWiki, so that you, as an article author, can say, send me an email if there's a comment on my article. Articles that I've written. Review the application code to find both reading and managing articles shared code. They are different features with different concerns and should therefore be split. Yeah, this is true. Split the repositories based on the same feature responsibilities. Yeah. All right. So I'm probably, there's going to be a little bit of squashing going on here to merge this in. I'd like to leave the 2 remaining open items for some other pull requests. They're basically the next cleanup step, maybe create some separate issues. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And you've closed a bunch of issues as part of this. Fantastic. Duplicate slugged a topic. Fixed namespaces. Over-enthusiastic resharper. Create command from view models using AutoMapper. All right, so let's take a look. Now, here's another one. 156 files changed. All right. This file was deleted. Create new article command. Okay. Create new article. Why were these deleted? Where did they go? CoreWiki application articles, and you changed it to managing. Too much, I guess. Yeah. Do you have any good examples of good PR descriptions? Asks GA Progman. Good PR descriptions. So, our friend Scott Hanselman actually was talking about exactly this in his blog post that he published yesterday. We want to make sure we get pull requests and we merge them quickly. We don't want them hanging around for a long time. We don't want them abandoned. We don't want to be afraid of closing them. But what would be a good pull request description, right? So, surprise PR, this kind of describes a little bit of what we saw from Chris with the enforcing of the rules. Major changes, file moves, and we didn't have an issue to say, here's what we want to do. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to take that. KM Droid, thanks so much for the follow. So I think we need to check and make sure we have a contributing document. But there's a template that we can use as part of GitHub's standard configuration here that we can use to define here's what a good pull request description looks like. So you place it in .github, pull request template MD, and there were some good examples of pull request templates available. GitHub pull request templates. Some folks had some really nice ones. Issue templates, issue and pull request template generator. That's the same one that we're already looking at. A collection of GitHub issue and pull request templates. Great. Templates for me to pick. Okay. Like what? So I guess bugs only, questions answers, screenshots, pull request template. Description, related issue, motivation, and context. How has this been tested? Screenshots. So, nice. Forget the diff, it's too much. Just look at the end result. I have a feeling that's what I'm going to be doing here. Checklist, conversational. So, there's a nice set of different templates here that we could just grab one and merge in here. So I think there's an opportunity to grab one of these templates and drop it in and use it as kind of a default so that it pops up and is what we're doing. What? What is this? Oh, okay. The overflowing mailboxes. Pull requests. Okay. Cute. Just tell me how to build. The bizarre person and you decide to continue. The world spins. I don't even know what this is. Great. Nice effort. What? Just let me answer a couple questions. All right, so I kind of agree with Brave Cobra here. I'm going to just grab this locally and run it and make sure that it works, because wow, that's a lot of files changed. I mean, and you did move a lot around. So so let's let's do this. I'm going to grab that. Open PowerShell. What do I... What's different? Oh, I saved the PowerPoint for the objects that we were talking about on Saturday. That's fine for now. I should be able to work around it. Okay. Let's open Visual Studio and take a look at the project. So I'm using Visual Studio 2017. This is 15.9 Preview 1, I believe. And while that's loading, while that's finishing getting set up, I want to make sure I call out the Rainbow Beard Challenge. My lord, I don't know if you folks are out there, and how's the quality? Need to work on high DPI there, fella. Need to take a look at high DPI? Maybe? Just a little? Thanks so much. Alright. So, they're very high quality. Yes. Very, very high quality. Hey, there's Jamie Singleton. Good morning, Jamie. It's 2018 and high DPI is still a joke. It's something they're actually spending a bit of time on. Good luck anyone trying to rebase on that. We're gonna squash and merge. We're gonna be in better shape here in just a little bit. Let me take care of something while I have this here. That should have. There we go. Cool. I want to make sure I pass a sword to... Where'd Jamie go? I just saw her. There she is. Right? Jamie Singleton. Did I spell that right? Rebase of rebases. Yes, a little bit. So, Trekium? Thanks so much for the follow. But I was saying, I don't know if you folks have been out there telling your friends and recruiting, or if somebody just set up a bot to click the follow button and create new accounts every couple hours. But we're out to 3556, and the gauge is starting to turn into blue here as it fills up. Thanks so much for all those follows. If we get to 5,000 followers by October 20th, so we are just over a month away. We got to get 1,500 people in here. That's a lot. I'm going to dye this old soup catcher here rainbow colored to salute you, our community, and the support that you've given me over the last, it'll be 11 months at that point. I think it's November 23rd is the anniversary of the stream. So we are getting closer and closer to that anniversary date, but at about the 11-month mark, if we hit 5,000 followers, yeah, I will dye the beard rainbow. And I've even got folks at Twitch saying, hey, if we get you to 6,000, will you wear it rainbow colored to TwitchCon at the end of the month? If you get me to 6,000, sure, we'll wear it to TwitchCon. I don't think we're getting to 6,000. That's almost double. Please put a time limit on the rainbow beard. Absolutely. Yeah. October 20 is when we're looking at. So I need to put that in that little doodad there. Let's see. Maybe I can fit that in right now. It's this. If I do properties on that, there's a thing over here somewhere. So here, this is what the configuration looks like for this. Rainbow Beard Challenge. So let's, right, so if I open this up and I actually add that additional bit of text, right, if I say %20 and October 20, right, like that, will it fit? Come on. I think it's too big. Yeah, it didn't work. Go back over here, do this thing. Nope, I messed it up. I messed it up good. Let's get rid of this and go there. Now that worked, right? So if I say oct 20 there, I think it's too big. I think it's too big. So maybe if I get rid of the word challenge, will that work? There we go. Huh? What do you think? What do you think? Does that? Cool. I will use that URL then. Go back over to OBS, paste in the thing. There we go. Is that better? Am I wrong to want smaller PRs over something like this? Yes. I agree with you, Voltage. Smaller PRs definitely help in managing this type of an interaction. So I did do that merge, and it is running here locally. Let's just take a look-see and make sure that we're in good shape. Because this is in this case a major refactoring, you would end up with dozens of interconnected PRs if you're not careful. Right. Now, fortunately, this is coming into a feature branch that we can, if we don't like this, we can kick this off. You know, if there's a problem with it, we can dispose of the branch and say, you know, this is a problem. But so far, so good. Looks like we've got good content here. Things look like they're running properly. I can click through and see it and click back to home. I can do a search. Search works. New article. Wants me to log in. Yes, please. I will log in. Topic. This is a new page. Welcome to CoreWiki's latest page. Woot. And create. It saves. Good. If I click edit, here's an update. Now, if we had a good integration testing suite, not just our unit tests, but an integration testing suite that would go through, actually open a browser and do some of these basic smoke test types of operations, we'd feel real comfortable with allowing that automation to happen. And especially the check marks that we get here would have a lot more value, right? We don't have those tests built into our continuous integration at this point, right? The check mark, if you're not familiar with this and the red X there, it's a continuous integration. There's a service out there called AppVeyor that runs for open source projects. I've connected into this project that will, every time there's a pull request, it'll look at the latest commit, do a checkout, build, and run all the tests that are defined for it, and then give us back a status. Green check, it worked. Red X, it didn't. So the last test that AppVeyor ran successfully. So I have some level of confidence on that. Got sent a DDT course, a TDD course. TDD, yes, make sure I'm pronouncing that properly. A test, TDD, if you're not familiar with it, is test-driven development. That's the practice of writing your tests before you write any code. And it's something that I'm a big fan of, but I don't actually practice too well. I'm actually not that great at it. So, but just clicking around here, this looks like we're in pretty good shape. And just based on this little bit of a smoke test, Brave Cobra has done a number of significant architecture pull requests in the past. So I think I'm pretty comfortable with merging in these changes at this point. Now, I mentioned, it'd be great if we had some more tests out there that would validate this. If you're interested in contributing, writing a little bit of code to help out with CoreWiki, writing unit tests to verify some of these features is a great way for you to get involved, learn a little bit about the source code, get a commit into the project, something that's open source that you can point to for maybe a future employer if you're a junior developer and you're just starting out. Say, hey, I helped out with Jeff Fritz and his community, and you can see the work that I submitted and the work I did over there. And for folks that do submit, you're going to appear on the crawl up at the top, the ticker, to show all the folks that have been contributing and participated in our projects as part of this community. So I'm pretty confident with this. I'm going to squash and merge what Brave Cobra has here, and then the ticker will update. I think I can remove one of those projects in the ticker as well, but let's update this. Thank you very much for this awesome contribution. Cool. Now, I'm going to go back over to my code, which it was running there. I don't. And I'm going to go back to my previous branch. I use git checkout hyphen, and hyphen is just a shortcut. I learned about it on stream. Somebody in the chat room recommended. It actually goes back to the previous branch you were working on. And I'm going to run a git branch here and see all the branches that I have hanging out here that I'd like to clean up a little bit real quick. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just delete some of these older ones. I'm going to start with Aaron and Cincy working on the paginator. Goodbye. And I'm going to get rid of this one from Ashley working on the search. Let's get rid of that one we just merged from Brave Cobra. We'll get rid of this one from Chris. We've got two down at the bottom from Smab. I will clean those out. Now I'm able to tab complete because I'm running a tool called PoshGit. PoshGit is a plugin for PowerShell that gives you this little bit here inside your prompt, and it gives you cool autocomplete capabilities with your git commands. So now if I run git branch, that looks a little bit cleaner. Some of the projects that I'm working on. Oh, I've got one left from Monkey. And then I'll take a look back at, there we go. What do we got happening in the chat room? Remember, TDD does not equal high DPI. No, there's that too. Zerk suggested like Selenium. Selenium is a tool that will allow you to automate browser interactions. It's nice, it's open source, it's free for folks to get in and use and to include as part of your build process. That's not too bad. But I agree with what Voltage is saying. Selenium tested is easy to hit AppVeyor's time limits. There's a time limit that your project is allowed to be in the middle of a build process. So if we run a lot of those types of web navigation tests, navigate around, click this button, did it do this thing properly, it slows down the build process, and you can hit the maximum time limit that Selenium allocates to you. Okay, what else do we have here? Look at the code since you might not find your way around anymore. I'm going to do that in just a second. How small a commit can I get away with? Gosh, you could do a commit as simple as writing a couple of unit tests. What are the specs of this PC? Zerk asks. My PC that you're referring to? I'll show you that in just a second. PRs look good, better in general than simply working on your own projects because it shows off your ability to work together with others and understand and modify existing code bases. Amen, Zarnal. Yes, I like that. Yeah. You've participated as part of a community. You submitted something to a project maintainer. It was reviewed. You took some feedback. You may have acted on that feedback. I think that's a very good point, Sarnal. I'm using PoshGit, but I cannot get it to work with SSH on GitHub. Is that even possible, or should I stick to HTTPS? I'm using SSH on GitHub. So there's my remote. Isn't it like a -v? There you go. I'm using SSH. So, I'm sorry. Mrs. C# Fritz occasionally texts me during the stream, and you'll see me look down at my watch to pick up on those chats. It seems that the doctor's office that she's at, she went to the ladies' room, and there's no TP. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. She's at home now. Oh no. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. There we go. One of my daughters helped her out. Okay. No, because if I did have to take off, we'd be waiting, and no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Anyways, so Blazor is still experimental. Do you know if the project is going forward? Do not know yet. Let me come back to that in just a minute. Let me finish going through here. Devs don't run them as a full suite, usually just the modified new ones, then CI handles the full. Yes. How do you get anything done? With 600 UI tests, yeah, that's going to take a long time. I would only run those at night, on a nightly build. For as far as Blazor goes, I suggest you tune into .NET Conf next week. So on Thursday next week, yes, Mrs. C# Fritz is glad that you, my viewers, got a laugh at her expense. I thought she was still at the doctor's. Evidently, she's home. Who knew? That's how silent it is here, and how much I can't hear outside of my headphones. So next week is .NET Conf. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tune in. You'll be able to find that at .NETconf.com. And for the beginning of Wednesday and Thursday, all of those sessions, there'll be a great chat room on the Channel 9 website you can participate in, but we will be syndicating over here on the Visual Studio Twitch channel. I will be hosting, syndicating over to this channel, so you can watch in all kinds of different places. .NET Conf will be available. There's a great keynote to kick off the event with Mads Torgerson. He's the principal programming language designer for C#, with Miguel Diacaza. He is, of course, the lead developer, the lead engineer for everything Xamarin. And, of course, Scott Hunter, who is the lead of all things .NET at Microsoft. Regarding Blazor, tune in. They might have something to talk about during the keynote regarding that. There's definitely going to be content about Blazor a little bit later in the day that I know the ASP.NET folks are going to touch on. Am I going to show off Blazor Thursday? I am not. I'm not actually doing any of the content presentations. We can talk about and go through some Blazor here on stream, but I will not be covering Blazor as part of .NET Conf. I will not. Some other folks will touch on it. Who is the guilty one? The daughters. They're over there. They do the thing over that way. Let's see. You need an SSH running, I think, for the SSH keys. I have... How did I install all the Git tools? I installed Git for Windows from the Git website, and it got everything for that configured. But Friday is 24 hours. So starting end of day Thursday, going into and through Friday, 24 hours of .NET Conf content. It's going to be really great. You're going to want to tune in and watch that. Wednesday, after the last session Wednesday, we're going to host a party with giveaways. Prizes you can win like Xboxes and Surfaces live on Twitch on the Visual Studio channel. You're going to be able to answer questions and maybe win a prize, maybe get something sent out to you. Really, really cool event. There's going to be a ton there. Everything absolutely will be recorded, Jay Wood, and you'll be able to tune in, see those later after the fact. We're going to rerun .NET Conf again in the evening, right after the original sessions happen. We'll rerun it on Twitch so that folks can see it, and then all the content will be available on YouTube. Let me just take a peek back at the source code here. Brave Cobra saying, you want to take a look at that. There's a couple changes there that are going to be interesting. You're going to be wanting to see. So I went back to Project New Data. I do need to run a git pull so I get all those changes we just merged. Here they come. And now Visual Studio is going to complain again. Oh my gosh, so much changed. A unrecoverable error. Save your work, closing and restarting Visual Studio. Thanks so much. I'll take you up on that in just a few minutes here, fella. All right. So there's the CoreWiki application. So one of the pages that we were working on, let's look at like the search page. That's one of the pages that was impacted by this. So now search receives just a mediator. And on the onGet, it sets up a query, receives a search result, and there it is. It receives it from mediator after the query is sent. That result, it just maps here. And I agree with this. We're starting to use AutoMapper to do these types of left-right, just copy this thing into that thing type of work. So we're going to make that happen at some point here. There's another cool pull request you could write if you want to write the map for that. We have an AutoMapper configuration folder here. Not under areas. It is configuration. Startup. Where is it? Configure AutoMapper services. There we go. So, oh, wow, you broke them out into profiles. Look at that. And then here's how to map those things. So, nice. Makes it easy to find and see exactly how AutoMapper is configured. So things like this search where it needs to do this little bit of mapping, we can put that over in here and simplify it so that other applications that are going to do mappings between these types of objects or other places where we need to do that, we can reuse that exact same logic without having to copy that code in. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see that we're using some more of those AutoMapper features. But here's the application. And, oh, look at this. You put in data abstractions, and you put the interfaces for the repositories. Inside of Core, we have our domain object still. Good. But under CoreWiki application, articles, managing, reading, search. So we've organized by the different interactions we're going to do with our article object. So managing, here's our commands, here's our DTO, or data transfer objects. These are the objects about the article that are very simple POCO objects, right? Plain old C# files, plain old CLR objects that we're going to pass across application boundaries, right? So between this project, the application project, and the web project, between this project and our entity framework project, so that it knows how to interact with the database. So very cool stuff. So there's the data transfer objects. Here's the various commands, right? So edit article command. Here's just those couple things that we need in order to edit the article. And so why Why did you get rid of the constructor there? You have private sets for these. How are they being set? How are you constructing these now? Ah, AutoMapper is copying in. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, look at that. All right. So, the idea behind making these fields have private setters is then you can't actually change them along the way, right? They're idempotent. They're just that. For AutoMapper, you need the parameterless constructor. I get it. Okay. My blue cup here is disappearing in the background. Nice. All right. So really cool set of changes here, and then the notifications we've broken out a little bit. So the configuration for notifications as abstractions, and then here's all the services to actually connect and send those. All right. Cool. Let's see, what do we have here? Looks like developer has been doing work around SSH in the last couple months for Posh. Neat. Here's some PowerShell magic to delete merged branches. It will never delete dev or master. Git for each ref format. Holy crow. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. But I have some feature and project branches that I don't want to delete. So I think I would want to update that if that you have there. But that's pretty cool, bug found. Let's do this. I didn't know you could do a git for each ref. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna copy that. And let's do this. Thinking. I am going to, well, we need to look at the next pull request, Bootstrap Cake. Let's look at that in just a second. I'm going to go out to a gist and paste this in here. Git tips and tricks. All right, let's just call this, do I need to give it a file name? Git tips dot, let's put CMD. I don't care. And I'm going to create this as a public gist. Oh, shoot. I should have put a description next to it, shouldn't I? Edit. We're going to want to wrap that as well. Please. Let's do this. Delete extra branches that are not dev or master. Cool. Thank you so much for that tip. I'm definitely going to have to use that. Okay. So let's do this. I want to look at this pull request, and then we'll start taking a look at adding this other feature so we can deploy. K-balls, oh, nice. With the G Fuel command. I don't have a G Fuel command. I should have some sort of referral code or something there. But yes, I am sipping on G Fuel this morning. I have the fruit punch flavor, and I'm waiting for the Philly shaker. That'll be kind of cool. Twitchloft says, how can AutoMapper set values when the properties are private set? Reflection. You can use reflection and always set private properties. But typically, normal interactions, that's blocked from being done. I was hoping DevLead was going to make this change. Yes. So what's happened here? So DevLead, this is our friend Matthias. Cake, right, which is, it's actually an acronym for C# Make. The Cake tool is now available as a .NET command line tool. So what you can do is you can actually install Cake globally, and then it's just available to you. If it is available, use that instead of going and downloading it each time. So the change, and I've already taken a look at this, the change that he's made here is instead of going and extracting and unzipping it, and here it's figuring out, do you have Cake? What version do you have? Go download it and unzip it. Well, go see if the Cake version is available on this system. And that's what's going on here. If it's not, install it and grab the latest version. And then here's where it is, so that later on our Cake exe path is just .NET Cake. Cake. He's done the same thing with the cross-platform shell script file, so that you can build and you'll get the exact same stuff running here as well. Nice. So I'm pretty happy to work with Cake. It's got some great stuff in there for helping us build our container image for this, and we will eventually be deploying containers for CoreWiki. I want to put CoreWiki into the Docker hub. We're not quite there yet. With these changes we just took in from Brave Cobra, I think we're pretty close. Pretty close. So I will squash and merge. Thanks for the update. This makes it much easier to use Cake with our application. Great stuff. Thanks so much, Matthias. All right. And that's it. So the last one the last one we have here is this one from Chris, and we're going to park that one for right now. Let me take a look at the chat room real quick. Hi, do you maybe work with WCF before? This is World Signia YT. Yes, I've worked with WCF before. I need to write messages to a database and want to use a message interceptor, but that isn't called by the runtime, and I do not know how to pass a variable generated ID from a runtime called method to the final called service method. I would need to see some code to help you out with that. But you can add interceptors as part of your configuration, and be able to intercept your service methods there. If you've got some code, you can post that question to Stack Overflow. We can definitely share it with folks here in the chat room. We can share it with some of the folks in the WCF community and get you an answer for that. Sorry, name is not easily read. K-balls. Okay, that's fine. It's the name of the bar in your basement. Cool. All right. I was thinking about putting a bar in my basement, and then we had a winter where we took on some water, and that whole idea went out the window. Sync Stuff says, you hosted Dev Chatter and he recommended beginner programming books. Do you recommend any programming books for self-taught new programmers? Try ASP.NET Core. Teach yourself in 24 hours from that guy. Just kidding. That's my book. Books go out of date very, very quickly, if they're talking about a specific framework, a specific language, because things today in the open source community go very, very quickly. I would never buy a JavaScript book, because
and you blow it.
It's going to expire quickly. I am completely agreeing. Maruko, points to you. That is exactly where I was going to go. Code Complete is a great book once you know a programming language. Once you know enough about a programming language that you can get in, you can write some basic loops, some basic conditional structures. Code Complete is a phenomenal book to help get you into a little bit of code structuring and design and get you past just knowing a language, but being able to be more productive with it. It's very language agnostic. It's not committed to any one language in how it interacts and describes what you should be working with, but it is amazing. 24 hours? No, you can do that ASP.NET book in 8 hours. Hey, there's our friend Shane. Good morning. Code Complete is very dry. Very, very dry. You take some time going through that, because you're gonna finish chapters and nod off. All right. ReSharper tells me I can now remove the private setters, then the reflection breaks. Yeah, it is. It is indeed. So there are some other architecture books that I would recommend you take a look at, sync stuff. But Code Complete is, you'll find that on most developers' bookshelves. It's on mine behind the blue. It's blue screen today, but it's over on the other side. Moz says recommends the Phoenix Project. I'm not familiar with that, Moz. If you don't mind, I'm going to just take a quick look. I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine, so I can do an !A and it'll search Amazon for me. The Phoenix Project, a novel about IT, DevOps, and helping your business win, from February 27th. Oh, that sounds cool. And then there's an update here beyond the Phoenix Project. There's an audiobook available, and it's free with Audible trial. Kindle edition for $10. That's cool. Thanks for the recommendation, Moz. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. It looks like Niami's got a link for that. Cool. All right. Or how not to work. Okay. We'll have to take that. Let's see here. What do we got? Yep, Clean Code. We were just talking about that. Oh, the link was for Clean Code. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this other issue. And wait do you see who opened this? So I was bragging on a team call last night. Hey, we deployed CoreWiki. It's great. We finished it here. Not finished, but we got a lot of stuff done here on stream. You know, check it out. We're really happy about that. And this guy says, wouldn't it be great if you had a deploy to Azure button on that thing? Yeah, that'd be really cool, Scott. We can do that. Literally screaming at the screen during the deploy. Yeah. Yeah, Shane, we did not have luck during that deploy process. I was not happy. I was quite upset.
And you blew it!
It didn't work. I've been deploying web applications for years because...
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Very particular set of
skills I've acquired over a very long career.
A very long time. And it wouldn't work. But we got it working. Recommend Gang of 5 or Head First. I thought it was Gang of 4. For a beginner, no. No, I would come back to once you get your feet wet with the language, you write your first application and you hate what you've written when you look at it about a month later, then read Gang of 4. Because every developer, and they will admit this to you, they will look at code that they wrote a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, and they will tell you that they hate what they wrote. It doesn't matter what they wrote. They could have written, they could have written a masterpiece, something that everybody uses, and it's beautiful, and it's on use on millions of machines everywhere. And they will look at the source code to it, and they say, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. They'll all say, I hate some part of that code. I want to go back and refactor it. And there's a little bit there to sharpening your saw and keeping your tools, primed and looking really nice and having a great product that you can ship. That's a great fun fact there, Shane. So one of the Gang of 4, Eric Gamma, leads the Visual Studio Code team. So that's pretty cool. There is always a better way. Yes. If you end up working for a medium or large company that has a books budget or subscription or something like Safari Books Online, yeah, that's a great one. Head First Design Patterns is a good one. Some of our friends, like Steve Smith, have courses on Pluralsight and some other places that you can download that'll walk through and show you hands-on in video how you can do some of those design patterns. So I wanted to take a look at doing this deploy to Azure button. I don't think I want to do the deploy to Azure with our current version that's out there. I think I want to actually go through and push the button and push a new copy out there. And I also should merge down those changes that we put into our dev branch. And I know there's going to be a couple collisions in there when we merge. But I need to make sure I get that rainbow theme in. So actually, while I have Brave Cobra here, right? You still here? Yep. Do you think we're at a point where we can close the project, the new data project, that architecture that we did, and merge that up into dev and make a true 0.5 release? I think we can draw a line in the sand and say, yes, we can do that. Because those last couple things that you had, yeah, it is pretty close. And I think those last couple things that you had that were remaining, finishing implementing AutoMapper, that the goal of the new data project is still fulfilled of refactoring out without the AutoMapper. So I think we're okay on that. Split the repositories based on same feature. That's a thing that has to do behind, right? Refactoring the repositories further. They're still isolated. I think we're okay. That feeling when you get a pull request from the other Scott. And notice, I want to point out, Voltage is using capital letters there. He's referring to the Scott with a red shirt. And I will tell you that I have invited him to pair program with us. Now he's extremely busy and he politely declined, and I completely understand. But I did put it out there, and it would be amazing to get the guy who invented a good bit of this to join us. I don't think it's going to happen, if I were to extend the invite again, but I did ask. We're not. Yeah, Brave Cobra. I think it works. I think it works great. And these are things that we can continue refactoring for, let's say, a 0.6 release, right? These don't affect functionality; they really affect our maintenance. So I think as part of a 0.6, we could call that. So before we start the work on the deploy to Azure button, let's merge into dev. Let's push into master. Thanks for the lack of scrutiny. What did you do? What did you do? Anyways, did you accidentally get the Scotts mixed up? There's 3 of them. And I used to have a guy named Scott that worked for me on a project team. So let's do this. Let's do it. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to create a pull request because I'm going to go from project new data into dev, and this is going to be ugly. Look. All kinds of goo here. That's actually not as bad as I thought. But yep, can't automatically merge. Yeah, I know. We're going to have to do some of this. Do it. All right. New data architecture. All right. Refactored to CQRS. AutoMapper. Yeah, CQRS and AutoMapper. Let's just say that. Try the other way around first. Merge dev into data first. I'm still going to have the problem. Let me do that locally and then push up. Maybe that'll work a little bit. Futuro212, thank you so much for the follow. 3558. Git can do the renames for me. You might be right there. So let's do this. Let's just do a straight git merge dev. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I want to abort that. 1 second. Yeah, git merge dash abort. Back off on that. Let me go back to dev. Git checkout dev. Branches up to date. Okay, so I was right. I was going to say I need to git pull over here to make sure that I've got everything in there. I knew it wasn't right. All right, not CD. Git checkout, and I'll go back to my previous branch. I'm going to move this over a smidge so you can see what's going on here. Let's make sure I have all the things. Yes, now we'll do the git merge dev so it merges down. So merge conflict in Docker file, removing. Project lock JSON deleted in dev and modified in head. I'm okay with whacking that file. Layout, merge conflict in layout, merge conflict in search, auto merging the CS proj, notification service, fix the conflicts, and then commit the result. All right. Here we go. Anyone have any good resources on CQRS, especially starting a new project with it? That's a good question. I'm off the top of my head, I don't know where I would refer you for CQRS. A number of folks have written books and things. There was a guideline book that Microsoft Patterns and Practices wrote a couple years ago that would get you there. But oh my gosh, what's the guy's name? There's two gentlemen that kind of coined the term CQRS. And I'm blanking on their names now. Oh my gosh. It's not Martin Fowler. And wow, they don't even attribute them here in the docs. Well, that's a problem. No. 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 No, I always give these guys credit whenever they talk about it. Greg Young, that's it. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you, Twitchloff. Not Martin Fowler. Martin Fowler talked about CQS, not CQRS. Greg Young and Udi Dahan are the two gentlemen who really coined and led kind of the codifying of exactly what CQRS is. So, all right, let's open the hood here. Start throwing some wrenches. If I run git status here, here's our unmerged issues that we have to go through. Notification service, search CS HTML CS, the layout. I'm okay with package lock JSON being destroyed. Docker file, and this is my little object slides that we were talking about the other day. So I've got 5 files to go through. I like to do merge resolution in Visual Studio Code. I think the visualizer here is top-notch, and I hope you do too, as we're going to wander through here and take a look at how this works. And I'm not thrilled with the little dance that my icons do here. Where did my live share icon go? And my live share features disappeared on me here. Like, what are you doing to me, Visual Studio Code? My features that were here last time I opened you are gone. All right, I'm going to go into the source. You're kidding, right? I don't want Slack turned on right now. What are you doing? Thank you. I'm clicking. Clicky, clicky. Do something. I'm impatient. Deal with it. Yeah, that's fine. Delete it. For intro stuff, I often search Vimeo for NDC conference videos. That's a good idea as well. You know what? No, I'm not even gonna. I don't understand it. I'm staging it, but it's deleted. But it's deleted. Deleted by them. I'm gonna delete it on my own then. Delete. Where is it? CoreWiki package lock. And that sure looks like it didn't delete it. No. Why didn't you delete that? No, it's deleted. It's not there on disk. See? It's gone. So why does it think it's still there? No, 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 no. CoreWiki project lock JSON. Yeah, I know. I know, it's not there. That's weird. Yes. Okay. I don't know what that did. But feels weird. Let me start with the Docker file because I have a pretty good idea what we changed in here, and this should be easy to do. Stop interrupting me. Yep, we just changed from 212 to 213. I'm okay with the incoming change. That's good. Stage the Docker file. Thank you. Let's look at the search page. So the search page, if string is null or empty, just return the page. If string is null or empty query, we're going to search no matter what here. That feels weird. If string is null or empty, do the search? I think that's a mistake. That shouldn't be there. Should just change that to 2.1 dash. That way you'll always get the latest. I don't always want to get the latest though. Right? Because if I get the latest, I might be out of sync with my stuff. I don't know if I want the current change there. I think, let's go back over here. Let's look at the current source that's in the project. Because I'm actually a bit confused as to what it's showing me here. Pages. So here it is. If string is null or empty, just return the page. Otherwise, search articles query and then do this. So we do want the current change. Save that. Yeah, to the question that Shane had about always getting the latest version of the container, getting the latest versions of containers, the ASP.NET team upgrades the tools in the container each time. So this means that I need to have my development .NET command line tools and the libraries that I'm referencing in line lockstep with those the whole way through. So changing the Docker container version is something that I want to do at the same time as I version my .NET command line tools and the version of things in my project. I want to make sure that that's all flowing and advancing at the same time. Which actually begs the question, it'd be really cool to have a tool that would set that version number, set a global JSON version number, and update my project files all at the same time with the appropriate version. So that's not a bad idea. Let's take a look at notification services. So we've got a block of 2 changes here. You can see them in the green and the blue over here. And if you're colorblind, in the gray and the gray over here. Yeah, I went there. Let's see. The latest is always better, says Bug Found. Oh, Bug Found. Let me tell you about a fabulous COBOL application that was written on a mainframe in 1972. Kidding, just kidding. Looks like you've already fixed it. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Thleesome is here. Hey, Thleesome. Am I pronouncing that right? Thleesome? All right. It's probably updating to yesterday's new version. I don't like the concept of versioning quickly, because then I'm updating my code just to maintain to the latest version of things, And that means I'm not being productive delivering business value. I'm spending more time maintaining my code to the current version of tools. Liam is better. Fantastic. We can work with that. Welcome, Liam. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you in the chat room. So this is, looks like it's just setting some log information here. I'd really like to be able to view the diff side by side. Right? Where's the thing? There was a thing to view. Not show git output. There's a thing to view these side by side. Right? No, I don't want to view history. No. Compare file with previous. No. I'm going to view my diff side by side. If I do the split, that feels stupid. There is a side by side viewer here, but I don't see it. No. View. I'm editor layout. No. It's in the settings. Okay, where's settings? Right, there's... Right, or I gotta do this. Not that. This. No, not that. Settings. Yeah. Compare? Is that what it's called? No. Git? Oh, forget it. Oh, forget it. No. Conflict? Merge conflict code lens enabled. Merge conflict decorators enabled. No, that's not it. I'm not going to waste time finding it now. I don't have time. I actually want to get to writing some code today. Control plus to control comma to open settings. Yeah. Now what? What's the name of the setting to put the conflicts side by side? Right? Merge conflict. Try a preview of our new settings editor. Okay. Text editor? No. Workbench? No. No. Source control? Oh, forget it. Visual Studio Code Git merge conflict side by side. I want to view side by side. Editor code lens. No. I guess you can't do it. We just saw it was side by side. If editor render side by side. Render side by side. Diff editor side by side. I would have never found that. And it is already set to true. So that's not working. Right? I mean, that's no. What the hell is it doing? Sure, go ahead. I don't... Holy crow, that's scary. Oh, forget it. I don't have time. All right. I'm just gonna put this in another editor and try and figure out what's different. Sending new comment email if cannot notify user. Oh, and this one's doing the returns. Return false, return false, return false. Now, why is it different? New comment email model. This is not a diff, this is a merge conflict. That's right. Back to Emacs Vim. I like the 3-pane view that Visual Studio uses. And we were just... There's a way to do this in Visual Studio Code, and it's just not here. That's fine. Yeah, I think I want the blue over here. Yeah. I'm going to take the blue, which is the incoming. All right. Open that back up. This is notification service. That one's done. All right, layout. What's different in layout? I've got a blue area down here, and it is... Oh, it's for the reference to Font Awesome. Because we now have it available locally here, and we will download it if it's not available. So I'm going to take the incoming change. Cool. And I think that's all of our merge conflicts. Both modified layout. I thought we just did that. Oh, I didn't stage it. All right. Cool. Git commit merged dev into project new data. This is nothing you touched. .NET build. There's a solution file here, so it should go through all of that goo and get it all built. Oh, the dog's unhappy. That's wonderful. Yep, that's an npm install issue. That's fine. Let's see here. Okay. And if I go back, wrong window. Now let's do the .NET build, and it should not error out because of those node files. Come on. That all built properly. Restoring looks good. Bundler there. Love the bundler. Somebody was asking me the other day, should I use Grunt? Should I use Gulp? What should I use as a .NET developer to build and move these things along? And I'm a firm believer that the tools, the bundle config and things that have been built for Library Manager work directly with the repositories and go around Yarn and NPM for a .NET developer are a heck of a lot easier to use and stable and integrate with your entire build process. So it looks like we've got some issues here with tests not lining up properly. I'm actually pretty happy that it's just the tests that aren't working. Let's go back to full Visual Studio. Yes, reload. And we should see those tests error out here when live unit testing starts back up. See, there's live unit testing. So live unit testing is a feature of full Visual Studio Enterprise Edition that runs and makes sure that all your unit tests continue to run properly. Is the background music also from Music to Code By? Yes, it is. NCrunch is another great tool that does that continuous testing process. It's really nice. NCrunch has been around for a while, and they've done a great job with that tool. It does a little bit more than what comes with Visual Studio, and that's great. I encourage you to check it out if that's something that you'd enjoy. But yeah, this is Music to Code By. If you check out musictoflowby.com, you can actually get about a half dozen songs free right now. All right, let's see if we can fix some of these incorrect using statements here. So I'm just going to control dot for the win. All right, look at this. I'm control dotting, fixing my using statements, doing a thing over here. Oh, looks like we got the wrong statement. Add argument name. No, I think we got the wrong object. I don't think we wanted... Search model does not contain a constructor. It takes two arguments. No, because search model just takes mediator. So these tests for search are actually a bit broken. Let's see here. Article search engine setup. Search async is now taking, returns an article search DTO. Right? Search async is a search result of article search DTO, not a search result. Oh, a search result of type article search DTO. So let's change this. Article search DTO. No. Yes. Yes. Article search DTO. And it doesn't know what that is, so we need to more control dotting. All right. Yeah. Can I convert from domain article to article search DTO? So this needs to be one of those. That works. Hey, hey! Thank you.
Bazinga.
Thank you for the resub, SNB. That's 4 months in a row. That's awesome. Thanks so much for the subscription. I will of course match that subscription, and we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. They help women, underserved minorities learn how to write code, just like we're doing here. Shane says delete the tests and it's all fixed. Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Search model takes a mediator, which means we need to rewrite this so it's not taking those objects, and the mediator actually passes off to the real deal here. Rats. Because I need to actually do the send. Yeah, absolutely. That's not where I wanted to go. This is where I wanted to go. I'm a big fan of Girl Develop It, and yes, we're going to be sending a big check over to them. It is going to be so cool. All right, I spy a warning sign on dependencies in Solution Explorer. Yes, there's a warning sign over here. Our notifications is actually a different. I believe it's a .NET Framework version. We'll come back to that. Our search model right now is doing, it's calling through the mediator. So we need to change this. And some of our other pages already do this. CoreWiki website profile tests. What is this one? Just ensuring that the configuration is valid. All right. Oh, wow. You did change around some of these here, didn't you? Article search profile tests. Now that's looking at the mapper. That's... Yeah, this bit here, we need to make sure goes through mediator. So now here's one of our tests where we have mediator, and it is it's set up with a mapper configuration for everything there. I think we want to move search tests down here. I think we want to create another base fixture. And yeah, that is SendGrid. Yep. Testing it from all the way up the view model is crossing too many boundaries. I can't disagree with you. However, I do want to make sure that the search page, when you do the search and it returns pages and I requested page 2, it actually goes to page 2. That was a problem that we tried to fix, that it does properly do that paging. So I need to mock out mediator and mock out the results that it's actually requesting. And we did that over here in this base fixture. Right, we created this mock mediator and we said, well, when you receive a request here, just return this. Yes, have a mock of mediator returning 2 pages. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking at doing here. And actually, it doesn't return 2 pages. It returns. Let me get rid of some of these other ones. Don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need that. Or this. That. Right. So when this does the search, right, instead of mocking article repository and article search engine, I'm mocking mediator, and I'm returning this result. I think that's all we really need to do. So let's sling some code. All right. Mediator, new mock, mediator, like that. And I'll control dot, get our using statement. And I'm going to do mediator setup, and instead of search, right, this is doing a publish over here. Nope, it's a send. My bad. And it's going to send. I need to close Teams. Goodbye. Thank you. Right, so this sends a query object. I don't care. Well, I want to check the query object to make sure that it's pushing the right page number. You know, I don't really care about what the actual query is. But why are we getting no overload for send takes 3 arguments? Right. It's a new article search query. So let's do this. Right, it is any article, right? Article search query, right? Search articles query. Search articles query. And control dot that one, get my thing in there. And now what's it upset about? An expression tree may not contain a call or invocation that uses optional arguments. Who's using optional arguments here, buddy? Mediator send. I'm not using optional arguments there, fella. What do we got here? NFL opening day today. I guess that is why you. Yes, that's why I'm in my gridiron stuff. What am I building? So this is our CoreWiki project that we've been working on here on stream. This is a content management system that we've been building. If you look on the channel a little bit below me here, you'll see a link out to the source of the project, or you can find it at corewiki.info. Cancellation token. I mean, come on. I guess I have to punch that in. Default cancellation token. Really? Okay, good. Returns. Task from result, and then there's our faux result. Search model. I don't. So now, when I create the search model object, right? So this is the actual act. I'm passing in my mediator object. And it should return page 2. Nope. What did I do wrong? Returns current page 2. Where did we stop? Let's take a look over here. It's right there. The problem's still here. Finish the test. There it is. Fixed. Good. All right, one problem down. What are my other errors? Oh, that was the only error. Right? So I should be able to build. We get this running. So this is a simple content management system, triple fun, that we've learned how to build using ASP.NET Core. It'll run cross-platform. People can work on it using Visual Studio Code. We've worked on it on our Mac. We've seen how it can run in Linux. It runs in a Docker container. And we're merging through some changes now, and then we're going to add a deploy to Azure button here in just a little bit. So let me add these last couple changes. Git commit fixed the search tests to now use mediator. All right. And let's push those changes. That's a ton of changes. I'm going to end up rebasing this thing in a big way. All right. So now if we refresh this, now that I have a couple extra commits in the bag here, it might be able to merge automatically. So now we have a yellow dot here. This is AppVeyor actually running the test, and you can see here pending, right? And I'm going to click through here, and we should be able to watch AppVeyor run this test for us. And I've got my build number wrong here. We should do that. Twitch Loft asks, what's the star in front of some of the options? Yes, S&B, that's correct. It is IntelliCode. IntelliCode is a feature that the Visual Studio team has been building that will, and I'll show you this while we're waiting for that build to happen. It will actually do, well, it'll recommend some of the most common features that people use for objects, the most common object libraries that are used and downloaded from NuGet, as well as the base class library. And it'll put a star next to them. Right, they analyzed like the top 10,000 GitHub repositories that use C#. And they found, here are the most common ways that people work with these objects. And it puts those to the top so that without writing a lot of code, without a lot of keystrokes, you can jump right through and do some of these things. So if I say split, right, and maybe we split on commas, when I dot, it knows, well, the common things people do after they split is they either check the length of it or they clone it, they do some other neat things. You like stars. All right, there you go. So that's IntelliCode. It's an extension you can add into Visual Studio, and it'll give you that extra bit of features. See ya, pal. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. All right, so this is still queuing to build. Come on, AppVeyor. Go. Do it. Let me click back into here. It's still on a yellow. Right? Because if this will do it automatically, do I rebase or do I squash? Right? There's a difference between these. Squash, the 30 commits from this branch will be combined into one commit in the base branch. Rebase. Now, my English teacher back in high school used to tell me, don't define something with the same word. Rebase and merge, the 30 commits will be rebased and added. How is that different from this? Can't get my work to Spring for Enterprise. They just can't justify the cost. I can understand that. If you use ReSharper and that combined, you don't have to write any code. Nice. It fights with ReSharper right now. I can't speak for that, but AppVeyor is still downloading here. Now I could use the command line tools here, download it and run the test locally myself. That's not a bad idea since AppVeyor is taking a little bit of time for me. So I am yeah, it does. And it's already up to date. All right. In Squash, you'll give up the history of the merge commit. I thought we give up the history. No, we keep the history, I guess, in the rebase. I think it means if you squash, you can't revert to any one of those commits. If you rebase, you can. Okay. Well, that sounds better. So yeah, I merged dev in, and then this is to push it up. So I guess this is gonna work, right? Huh? Oh, here we go. Look at that. Everything's green. Look at the stuff. Build success. Ship it. Here we go. Make it happen. I'm all set. Ready to go. The branch built properly. Okay. How about this one? Yellow. It's still going. Still going. Done processing. Come on. Come on. Hey, the mug arrived today. Congratulations, Brave Cobra. I already finished my coffee this morning, so I don't have my mug here. Starting test execution. Please wait. Doing the tests. Making the stuff. Let's go. Coffee as a service. That's a great idea. 8 libraries. Begin processing. Oh, this is the publish. It already finished the tests. 30 tests ran. Yes. It did the thing. I can see. Look at that. The icon changed. And this should update. Yes. Now, Rebase replays the commit order into one history. Squash merges all the commits into one commit and adds that to the history. Now, Moz, I like that definition a heck of a lot better than what's here. Right? I would love to see a little question mark here that has that description there. I like your description a heck of a lot better. I think I want to squash. Well, if I do the squash, I'll lose everybody's commits. So actually, I think I want to rebase. Nope. Nope. Can't do that. All right. I think we're squashing. So can't you add it yourself? Oh, Brave Cobra. I see what you did there. All right. So that's fine. Do it. Yes! And goodbye, project new data. Woohoo! All right. So now our dev branch has all that stuff. Let's push this into master. So I'm going to do a new pull request from dev into master. And this is really going to be ugly. But I don't care. I just want to push over. Did you close all the issues you fixed in the PR? I thought it closed those automatically because I merged. This one. Right? These, it should have closed automatically. Nope. Yep, merged. Done. Right. Introduce mediator. We did that. To 15 to 14, 64, 173. Right. Create the domain objects. We did that. Refactor and entity framework. Did that. View model classes instead of using EF. We did that. Good. Mapping data to a view model. Yep. We did all of that. All right. Where was I? I think I was creating that pull request. Right, so I want to go dev into master. Come on. Make coffee and inject it into the coffee mug. Can't automatically merge. Oh, you're kidding, right? I am not doing that right now. All right, backing off of that. I'll take care of that offline because that's just going to be yak shaving, and we don't want to waste time with that. We're in dev. I'm going to pull down a copy of that locally. Git checkout dev. Git branch, and let's get rid of project new data. let's git pull, so I have the latest here. Look at all that. All right. Git tag 05 preview. Git tag v0.5. And git push tags. And we just created a release. Should be there, right? There it is. 0.5. Fantastic. Has to be part of the commit message. Ah, there we go. Awesome. So now we've got everything pushed up and into Dev Branch. Let's put in the deploy to Azure button. This is supposedly really easy to do. I'm going to close out these other ones. So deploy to Azure button as suggested by deploy to Azure button instructions. Yes, please. Come on, here we go. The deploy to Azure button. Deploy to Azure button enables quick and easy deployment of your open source project to Microsoft Azure. We'll walk through how we added a deploy to Azure button to the Slacken project. Okay. The problem overview of the solution. Adding a deploy to Azure button to a project's README provides users with a simple mechanism to easily and quickly deploy your application to Microsoft Azure. Yeah, okay. Well, that actually looks kind of cool. Define the cloud assets. Slacken relied on certain tools such as Make that limited execution to Linux-based environments and therefore required a Linux VM. In order to provide users with the ability to deploy Slacken to a free tier of Azure, the build chain was updated to use gulp instead of make. Blah, 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 blah. For Slacken, the required cloud assets were Azure Web Application. It's the same way right now with CoreWiki. We just need an Azure Web Application to deploy to. The Azure Resource Manager template. This is sometimes called the ARM template. We won't go into detail about authoring ARM templates, but once constructed, save it as Azure Deploy JSON. Okay, how do I create templates? This isn't that easy, is it? I don't think we have variables or parameters that we need to think about as part of this. I took a look earlier. It is really easy to do, but we also have some extra callback features that need to be added later. Yeah, there's going to be things like adding your Twitter IDs and those types of things. Variables. Resources. I'd love to be able to point to a publish profile because you've already built the publish profile and say, give me one of those. For information about defining variables, see parameter section. Yeah. This is not going to be quick to go through. Might be a bit off, but are you trying to host your application, or what do you need a deploy to Azure button for? Oh, you can do that in the Azure portal. Ooh. Quick start, create templates. So triple fun. CoreWiki is very simple, and I want to make it as easy as possible for people to stand up their own CoreWikis. Yeah. So if I can generate these easily, right, make it easier for people to install and use CoreWiki, it'll make adoption of the application a little bit easier. So, and this is this is a nice exercise. If you're building an application, you'd like people to be able to install and deploy with Azure. So, let's see here. Sign into the Azure portal, create a resource, storage account, blob file table queue. Wait, the instructions in this, hang on. Learn how to create your first Azure Resource Manager template by generating one using the Azure portal. How to edit and deploy the template from the portal. Fantastic. Okay. So we need to create a storage account. I have a storage account for CoreWiki. All right. I got to make sure I have this turned on. Because if we're going to Azure, and those of you that have watched me use Azure here on stream, you know it fails for me 98% of the time. That's just the way my luck is with Azure. So let's get signed in here. And I've got to sign in again because evidently the first time wasn't enough. Show us your secrets. Yes, the secrets, Mr. Fritz. Show us. No. There is a CoreWiki storage. I don't see it here. CoreWiki storage account. It's a thing. It's right over here. All right. Was it this one? Yeah. Resource group, name, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Select automation options at the bottom of the screen. Whoa, wait a sec. Okay. The main pane shows the template's a JSON file with 4 top-level elements. Under the parameter element, there are 5 parameters defined. See the values you provide during deployment. Okay. These values are what you configured in the previous section. Using both the template and the parameter files, you can create an Azure storage account. Yeah, I know. Click Add to select Add to Library. Enter name and description. Why am I... I don't understand. Why am I adding to the library? SQL, aka Secret Query Language. The point is that these options have to be chosen by the new publisher, not the preset. Yes. Custom CoreWiki, absolutely. I'm not feeling this. How would you template for your resource help here? How would a template for my resource help here? Yeah. Can I suggest you build it without the JSON file first to see what else has to be done? Sync Stuff says I'm new. When I worked as a web designer, the company had its own server and it wasn't that big a deal, it seemed. Is there a reason that everyone is apparently using Azure, or is it just that it seems that way? By putting things in Azure, I don't have... Well, first off, I don't have my own server. Let's start there. So I want to use a hosting service. You can use a whole bunch of different hosting services out there. Azure is... there are free accounts that you can set up and use and get into. And make it real easy for folks to interact with your stuff, deploy across a horizontal scale without having to buy servers and have them installed and managed. Just let the hosting provider, in this case Azure, do all that for you. So that's why I choose to use Azure. Other folks may choose Google Compute, may use AWS. It's up to you. You can use, other hosting services as well. So the custom CoreWiki Cloud Shell. Now cut that out. So I've already got this. What does... I'm trying to understand why I need to add to library. Right, so it shows the template under parameter. So download the template and the parameters to your local computer. Add the template to the library to be reused in the future. Luhen Grin, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us this morning. Deploy the Azure storage account to Azure. Now, I deployed, but it's suggesting we add to library. Let's continue reading here and see exactly what it does. Edit and deploy the template. In the Azure portal, select all services, enter template in the filter box, and then select template preview. Select the template you saved in the last section. The name used on the screenshot is my storage. Okay. Add a variables element, and then add one variable as shown in the following screenshot. Okay. The storage account name. Okay. Remove the name parameter highlighted in the previous screenshot. Update the name element resource to the newly defined name. I don't need to. I don't need to... What? What's SMAB saying? I suggest you build it without the JSON file first. Which JSON file? Just download, but you need any of what this doc is using, as you already have created all that setup. Yes, I just need to export the ARM template. Right, where's the ARM template? Right? I mean, I've already got a template for the application running. Right, so... Backing up. Oh my gosh, we've got some gifts for some viewers. Thank you so much, Mike Eaton. So it looks like Shy Sharp, Shmulying, Smab, Triple Fun, and Triple Diamonds. Thank you, Mike, for passing along some subscriptions to our friends here in the chat. I'm, of course, going to match those subscriptions, and we're going to make donations to our friends at Girl Develop It. Thank you so much. That is awesome stuff. So, yeah, fresh black coffee mug indicators for all those folks. You don't need an ARM template. It's optional. Okay. So cool. Absolutely. All right. In the portal, left menu automation on the Azure website. All right. So I'm on. Here's my Azure website. Thank you. Left menu automation. Automation. There it is. Automation script. Ta-ta. Automating deploying resources to Azure Resource Manager templates in a single coordinated operation. Define resources and configurable input parameters and deploy with script or code. Okay, so we've got a bunch of different parameters here, including I installed a SSL certificate if you go to the website now. But some of these things we don't want folks to have. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to keep, what we want to remove. Very cool. Thank you so much, Mike. That's really cool to support our community like that. I really appreciate and enjoy seeing our little chat community here and programming community grow. All right. I'm still confused here because this has certificates and things in here. Resources, components. It's got my subscription ID right there, bare for everybody to see. Thanks so much. Crap. Okay. Not thrilled here. All right. This is not going to do exactly what I... Do you have an Angular ad? I have an Angular Mix ad. Yes, I do. I'll be speaking at Angular Mix. So, you can build the deploy button with just a link from your README in your repo. Yes, that's the end goal that we're trying to get here. But I don't think... Take a look at azuredeploy.net. Now, I feel like there's chunks of documentation here that are missing, right? I mean, this is from more than a year and a half ago. Right, deploy to Azure button. This is from 2014. Okay, so I'm looking at a lot of really, really old documentation. Deployazure.com. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, we'll log in again. It's going to ask me to log in again. Take control over HAL deployment. To learn more, click the button. Application owners can add a Deploy to Azure button to their GitHub repository by inserting it into their Markdown HTML. How it works. When a user clicks the button, a refer header is sent to AzureDeploy.net, which contains the location of the Git repository to deploy from. If you'd like to host the button somewhere outside, you can specify a query string. Are you kidding? When a user clicks Deploy to Azure button, we load a default Azure Research Manager template, which can be used to create a site with the code deployed from your GitHub repository. If you would like to customize, add a file called Azure Deploy JSON. This is what Smab was saying. Next to your README MD file, properties that are exposed through your template will show up as input parameters on the site. Well, that's kind of cool. Click here for an example MVC GitHub project which uses a custom template. Yeah? And there's Deploy to Azure. Well, holy crow. That's a ton easier than what that blog post was saying. Oh, you need a thing that does a doohickey with a... No, forget it. So this is telling me I can just do this. Added Deploy to Azure button. What does a tier 1 sub exactly mean? Doesn't mean you run faster. Tier 1, there's three tiers of subscriptions. And there's also Twitch Prime. As a tier 1 sub, you get the .NET bot emote that you can use. So if you can type C#, capital B, OT, and you'll see it pop up in the chat room. There you go, Welsh Ronaldo has it. There's a tier 2 that you can also get that's a couple dollars more, and it gives you that C# super icon that you see Moz sometimes use. No, I'm sorry, it gives you the hat. It gives you the blue hat, there you go. And then there's a tier 3 that will give you the super, and that's a few dollars more. Folks, those are things that are made available by Twitch. So I wanted to make sure if you did want to use those, you get some cool emotes. So now let's see if this deploy button works. So deploy to Azure. Let's see what it finds. Okay. Branch dev. Directory. Yeah, that's mine. Okay. Subscription. That's fine. Create a new... let me just pick one here. I'm going to go to CoreWiki 4. Not happy over there. Oh, it's because if I were creating a new one. Site name, sure, we'll create that. Use it, create it in free. Let's see what happens. It's basically a way to support the stream. Yep. And other folks, you know, they use your typically use your tipping, your payments to help fund themselves so that they can be a professional streamer, you know, instead of having to work. This is actually kind of what I do for work. It's just a little bit of part of what I do, so I make sure that we donate those to support other folks so that they can be successful as well. So creating web hosting plan. This looks promising. Moz is right. It shuts off advertisements as well. So I did get. So while this is going, I went and got myself my mouse that I was using started failing on me. It was a wireless mouse. So I went and got a cool Logitech gamer mouse. This is the Logitech G502. It's got all kinds of cool buttons that'll allow me to change the DPI resolution of the mouse, so it'll go really fast when I want. And there's even a switch on the side so I can slow it down if I'd like as well. So I just picked this up the other day. I've got to add it to my current set of gizmos and widgets that I use here on stream. Kind of like it. It's been going well for me. I did get it just a plain Logitech mouse as well, a new plain remote mouse. It's a blue mouse, that's why you can't see it all the way because of the chroma key. But for on the road, easy for me to just drop in my bag and I've got it to go. This is looking really good. This might actually work. With the right hooks, we could create the first user at this point. Smab, Smab's actually calling back to one of the other projects that we're working on. I'm actually going to close the new data architecture project here because I think this is done. Close project. Yes. One of the other projects that we're working on was actually, and this is something Smab had started down, and Ashley as well. What happens when you first install the project? We'd like to be able to create users and have kind of a wizard experience that says, where would you like to store your data? How do you want your users created? Right now, we just have a default admin user that's created, and it's kind of lame actually. So let's see how that works. Deployment failed. And let's see if we can make that something easy to do. Resource operation completed with terminal provisioning state failed. Okay. I've said it before on this very stream. I have terrible luck deploying with Azure. It just does not work for me. Right, so now if I do a search on this, right, did it actually deploy some of, yeah, look. It's here. It's up and running, but it didn't deploy for some reason, which tells me that it doesn't like something about my code copying in there. And is there a log or something that I can look at and see what it failed to do? Is it here in the activity log? I'm not hopeful. Okay, update web app sort. Update website. Now, why did that fail? Nothing. And of course, there's all my keys out again. Thanks so much. And it doesn't even tell me anything. Great. JSON? No, this tells me nothing. Okay. Thanks so much. Diagnostics. Got to go to stand up. All right, thanks so much, Moz, for helping out today. We'll need it later as well. Not everyone uses Azure, but if a later process can be automated, we could inject it at creation deployment. You know what? I'd actually prefer to see, there is no logs. I can't see exactly why it failed in deploying. Yep, view error, and the error is there was an error. Okay. So we're gonna have to spend some time debugging and figuring out why this isn't working. But I think we're on our way with it, and I'm disappointed that there isn't any logging to really go through and see there. Really, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have it build a container to deploy, because that way it's, and I've got this again. I'd really prefer the container so that we have that fixed and very locked down configuration that's easy for us to do. I don't want to overdress or under for interviews. What does the average programmer wear to code? Because I see a lot of weird things. I agree with President Not Sure. It is better to overdress. Tie and jacket is right out, but when you're programming, when you're reporting to work, wearing a collared shirt, whether it's a full button-down shirt or buttons halfway, as a guy, not bad. Ladies, typically wear a nice top. You'll see some folks at some more relaxed organizations wear t-shirts. In the States, denim jeans are typically acceptable. I don't find shorts terribly acceptable at work. That's just me. There are folks that do that. I'm not as relaxed like that. Board shorts, Hawaiian shirts, you'll see folks do that. But smart clothes, I think Sequel Mr. Magoo is describing it nicely. Collared shirt, nice pants. I'll wear sneakers. You know, I've seen folks go either way on that. Let's see, the Simeon has a message here that got trapped by the mod. Overdress if you don't want to appear as a slob. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm going to have to come back and spend some more time on this. I have to run. I do have other appointments and things that I do need to get to today. Yeah, I've actually got a call I've got to get to in 15 minutes here with another .NET Conf speaker. So I'm going to park this issue for right now for the deploy to Azure button. I'm a little disappointed that the default things that they say, well, hey, try this first, gives you 0 logging. I think that's a significant problem here. Tried the default button and it does not work. No log information is reported either. I'm actually going to reach out to some folks and see what I can do to find the folks who help support that deploy to Azure button. See if I can give them some feedback and get some more information from them about this, because in just a little bit of searching and clicking, I found 5 different ways to do this. And as somebody who's not familiar with building the feature, that's really confusing. And I want to make sure that it's clear to do, and I want to make CoreWiki an example for how to do that properly and well. So, kimono and furry slippers, nice. So I'm going to wrap up there today. I want to take a quick look and see who else is streaming out there in the programming space. Let's see. Oh, Dev Chatter has started. It looks like, yep, he's hosting Kevin Griffin today. So let's set up a raid for Dev Chatter. And we did some really great stuff here today. We got our application merged up. We tagged it, so we have a great release for it. We're getting ready to do this Azure deploy to Azure button. There's got to be something wrong with my account that literally Azure fails almost 100% of the time that we try to use it here on stream. And it doesn't matter what service we're using. Every service on Azure fails for me. It's got to be something with my account. So I'm going to try and reach out to some folks and see if we can straighten some stuff out there, because it feels really bad. And Azure deploy failed for you too. Yeah, there's something else going on. So I'm going to set up the raid for Dev Chatter. If you hang out in the chat room, if you hang out, keep watching here, you'll be rolled over automatically to Dev Chatter. There's even a button up at the top of the chat room you can click that'll jump you right over. Thanks so much for joining and watching with us here today. We're going to be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, if I can get some feedback, we'll do that deploy to Azure button and make that go through quickly. But I want to take a dive into Peach Pie, and I want to see if we can recompile and run my blog that runs on WordPress on .NET. See you then.